Hello everyone, welcome back to Morgan Hasn't Seen and the Sandra Bullock series. What on earth do we have this week with old Sandra? It's not old Sandra, is it? It's still young, hip, hype star Sandra. It's a weird one this week, Jeannine. I mean, it was a weird one last week.
Yeah, a little weird last week.
Series with Love Potion number 9, a very fun, offbeat, if not problematic at times, rom-com that it was. But we have, well, a particularly mid-90s movie coming at you this week to sink our teeth into, I suppose.
Yeah.
The Net, a techno conspiracy thriller from 1995. Was I expecting a little bit more technology in this movie than I think there maybe even ends up being, given what you had told me about the Net, given it's called the Net? It's not referring to a fishing net, is it? Or
No.
sort of like a goalpost net or anything like that. No, this is the internet, the fascinating new piece of technology that is the internet. Although I don't even think the internet itself, which sounds like a weird word to say in 2026, to be honest, because I don't think people use the word internet, anymore. Which is wild. But also, like, the internet itself, does that really come to play in this movie? Or is it just about sort of files and, computer data and things like that? There's nothing really, people aren't going onto early Google and typing things in a lot in this movie.
No, but the internet is where all of the information about you is stored. So that is kind of the concept. So, and they use it to their advantage. So the fact that like you're doing this in 1995, but it feels far more relevant today because now even more about you is online in a computer that could easily be changed and no one would be the wiser kind of thing. So particularly in 1995. So I like that this film illustrates all of the ways that like so much of our lives at this point in time are on a computer and how easily that can be wiped away and changed. And there's not really anything you can do about it. It's really kind of scary and scary how that has escalated even more today, like, 11 years later. So
yeah, 11 years.
11 years to it. Sorry, I come to 21 years later.
No, not 21 years later. That would be 2005. It's very late. This is
31 years later.
31 years ago. That's what
we're dealing
with.
Thing. Yes. Oh my god. That's terrifying.
Wouldn't you love?
What is time? What is time?
I'd absolutely
how did my brain really go 11 years ago?
Oh, for it to be 2006 again.
I know. I'll take it. I will take it. I think my brain just like wants me to go back to an earlier time.
I have very good memories of 2006. I think we do want to go back to a great time. But do you know what? That's a great place, I think, to start off the conversation on this movie, because it's the thing I was impressed the most about this, is that strangely enough, given that it is a movie that technologically is so of its time, that kind of ethically is so, well, not ethically, but it feels very of its time. It's presented as something that is current and new and very precise for 1995 computer IT technology. And things like that, yet has the sort of prescience that has only increased in today's world in terms of living your entire life on a computer, living your entire life through interconnected, cables and data sources, and your entire identity, your entire life can be wiped clean off the face of the earth should something wrong happen. Because everything is stored online. Obviously, everything is stored online. This is why it is important to keep hard copies of things. But even in 1995, Sandra Bullock is struggling to keep hard copies of things. So God knows what people are doing in 2026. Nobody has hard copies of things anymore.
Anything, stored away on some kind of the old cloud. Yes. Yes, but even in 1995, it's like internet wasn't even like a broadly used thing by enough people to where, so it made sense when she went around and trying to tell people this is what happened to her, that your whole life is online and you don't realize it. A lot of people aren't going to believe her because a lot of people don't think about it or even savvy in tech in that way on a mainstream scale. So
I mean, she is particularly into this.
In the know,
she is a computer programmer.
That's her job.
She is particularly in the know. This is her career. So it would make sense that she is one of the small percentage of people who would have the majority of stuff, who would be transitioning into having the majority of stuff online that has only, as we know, gotten, increased to at such an enormous percent of the world's population now. Most of their stuff is online, wherever you are from, unless you're in the poorest, most deprived parts of the world. It's going to be there. At least some of your life is just going to be there. But it does make sense, and I like seeing it as a time capsule, as a historical piece, a recent historical piece. In that
11
regard,
years ago.
I think that's really funny. 11 years, obviously, it was 11 years ago. I love that. I think that's one of my favorite things that's ever happened on Morgan Hasn't Seen. Us being so confused. Wait, it's definitely 21 years ago instead.
No,
it's not. It's 31 years ago.
31 years ago. Fuck. Yes. What is time? But like I just kind of was really scared of just like, like this is so much more relevant now. Like they could literally just change everything about you. And if you are in the position like her to be very isolated and not have anyone in your life to vouch for you, like who would do that? Who would be able to stop this from happening to you? So
I do like how it's obviously, it's so secretive as well. The sort of conspiracy thriller aspect of this movie is very, very secretive. We have really no idea why this has happened to Sandra Bullock. We have no idea who these people are who are doing this to Sandra Bullock. She just happens to have gotten the information.
Stumble upon this stuff.
Stumble upon some pretty serious politically based information. And some organization is now trying to remove all trace of her, remove that from existence, and maybe kill her as well.
Because they think she knows more than she actually does.
Exactly.
And instead
but this is Sandra Bullock.
Finding out, they just try to get rid of her.
She is typically likable, typically very down-to-earth Sandra Bullock, as we talked about a lot. Last week in Love Potion number 9. She's going through this entire movie going, I genuinely, I haven't got a clue what's going on here. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what people want from me. I don't know what's happened. I don't even think I know what maybe they think I know. Like, what's going on? I just want to go home. Can I please just go home?
Yes, and she can't. And like I said, and today, I think people are more isolated as well because of the internet. So you could definitely be somebody in the situation to not have anybody vouch for you because they might not know you. All your friends might be people that you know online, which is funny because we do see her have this little online community of friends who she does try to reach out to and ultimately gets one of them killed. So
I mean, look at us. Most of my friends are online.
Exactly. But, you know, not in, like, our case, like, maybe you've never met them in person, so,
Well,
you
no,
know,
that's true.
would they be a credible, like, witness to, like, say, "Yes, this is the person that they say they are," kind of thing. So the
I mean,
fact
it's
that, like,
different in
even
this
that
case because
aspect
this is all like this is chat rooms and
chat
forums
rooms and
and things
things.
like this.
Yes, but still, like, there is a modern day equivalent of kind of what she would be going through, which is an interesting
Definitely.
thing as well. So yeah, I mean, just to get into the movie, like, always forget, like, the beginning of this movie. Like, I was watching the start, and I'm like, "I don't remember any of this with the guy and calling his family and, like, being in the park." Like, I don't didn't remember any of that. So yeah, we open with this businessman. He seems to kind of be stressed out. He calls his wife, he talks to his son and tells him, like, you know, you have like 1 more hour to play your online game and then listen to your mother. And then he puts the mother back on the phone and he says, "Oh, yes, everything's fine. Just had a tough day at work. I'll see you later." And then he puts a gun in his mouth and kabloom. And
Yeah.
yes. So then
Why has he
it
done
cuts to
that? It's a shocking way to begin a movie.
yes, and so we get, like, little news reports happening in the background kind of telling us what's going on. So he was this prominent businessman, like, owned this big tech company, and I guess, you know, he found out that he was infected with AIDS, and so that scared him,
Because it's
1995.
1995 and that's still a thing.
Yes, and so, you know, not wanting to face up to his wife or whatever, presumably you know, ended his life. So this is kind of
I
what
don't
we
mean to
hear on the
dismiss
news
the AIDS
looming in the
crisis
background.
there, I just realized what I was,
Yeah.
what that must have sounded like. I certainly don't mean to dismiss that, but again, it is another example of it being a particular time capsule of a movie. I do
Yes, but, like, a
love some of
married
the language
man. Yes,
used
a
as
married
well
man.
around technology and
Yes. Yeah.
the certain terminology that's used that does feel so just unbelievably dated now,
Dated.
but
Yes.
kind of charmingly so. It's fun
Yes.
because you know full well that in 1995 this is the freshest, most up to date, most, you know,
Yeah.
ridiculously on the time movie possible.
Yes,
And
when they're bringing up
it's
these kinds
mad
of
how
issues.
yeah, but it's mad how so quickly that can just all be whisked away. We know
Yeah.
how quickly technology advances. We know how quickly tech has advanced in the 21st century since the
Yeah.
millennium. That was 26 years ago, and God, the world is unrecognizable from then. And this was 5 years before that. So there was
Yeah.
even, you know, advancement up to then. It is crazy to think of. Nobody can, even the most, you know, successful of tech companies and brilliant technological minds. I'm not talking about the stereotype of the tech bro here. I'm talking about the genuine scientific, you know, geniuses
Mhm.
behind creating a lot of the technology. Even they will understand that they are never on the nose with it. There's always something new. There's always something
Yeah.
different. There's always adapting that needs to happen. And I think there's a benefit to making a movie like The Net that is that you kind of must know at the time is going to be
Mhm.
so of its own time.
Yeah.
Um, and I just think people need to give the these sorts of movies, these types of movies, the credit for really capturing that, rather
Yes,
than
and
because we always
highlighting
find this
something.
argument. We
Yeah.
always find this argument of, oh, that you know, this movie feels so dated. This movie is not timeless. Timeless movies are the greatest thing. Well,
Yeah.
it's not strictly true, is it? A movie can be timeless and can be very, very good, but a movie can be so painfully of its own time
Yeah.
and be so great as well. Like, that's a big point. of what
Yeah.
the net is doing. I know it feels silly to say that and to bring up this more grand
No,
point
I mean, I
about
get what you
movies
mean.
with a movie like this, because it's
Yeah.
look, it's not a phenomenal movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's not one of the finest conspiracy tech thrillers of all time.
No,
It's
but
just
it's
a solid
highlighting
little thriller.
Yeah, and it's highlighting something that I think not the general public was thinking about. They weren't thinking about, "Oh, yeah, all my medical records are
Yeah,
now on a computer." You know, my background and my history is on a computer. What I like to order online, for pizza, what kind of video games I play,
yeah.
online. All of that is online. School records, so people can look up
And we
where I
can't
went to
avoid
school,
that.
what yeah, like birth certificate, all that kind of information is now on a computer. Your driver's license, any kind of records of, arrests and criminal records, all
Yeah,
that stuff is now starting to be implemented and put on computers. So I don't think the regular average Joe person in 1995 was thinking about
no.
this easy access and this different way of accessing and this immediate access to your information. So the fact that this movie in this time could draw attention to something that wasn't a broad thing people thought about, and
Yeah.
now how relevant it is today, 31 years later,
31 years later,
it
definitely
it
not 11.
it it is a kind of cool time capsule of a film that kinda captures something that would kinda speak to where we would be going in the future. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think every movie needs to be a timeless thing. I think movies can highlight something interesting, and show some more people at a time something that was going on that they don't know about, and then it can somehow be relevant years later. So, it's just kind of like a piece of history almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the series we're doing on the main show at the moment, World War II movies for
Mhm.
August. Some of those movies, given when even certain ones of them were made, a World War II movie made either during the Second World War or just after, still in the 40s, is
Mhm.
going to feel far more of its time than a World War II movie made today. Even though it's
Yeah.
about the same thing, it's going to have
Yeah.
more specificity to it. It's going to have
Mhm.
more preciseness to it. It's not going to be an overarching thing. I think we've seen that already in
Yeah.
certainly our first movie of the main show, which was Guns of Navarone, which was made 16 years or released 16 years after the war finished, and
Yeah.
is far more, as we say, it's far more fictionalized,
Mhm.
and it's far more spectacle, while being very having a very strong anti-war message, sure, but it's not the same as something like the story of G.I. Joe that we brought up in that
Yeah.
episode as well, which began our Robert Mitchum series that was made in 1945 specifically to honor the average soldier.
Yeah.
And there's a movie that's so of its time. Like, you can't make
Yeah.
that movie now and it have the same impact at all. And you
Yeah.
can't make The Net now and it have
Now.
the same impact.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Because
know,
this is
you
because I
could
think
make a tech thriller set in 1995, but it wouldn't feel as
feel this
it
yeah.
wouldn't feel the same as The
Yeah.
Net does, because The Net knows it's living in that world. You're not living in that
Yes.
world anymore. You've got the benefit of hindsight, and to not have the benefit of hindsight is actually a benefit of this movie, because
Yeah.
it
Because
doesn't
when you're watching
allow
it
anyone
yeah,
to think any further than just the
in
present.
that time.
It
Exactly.
doesn't allow anyone to try and solve these problems. Nobody's trying to solve these problems in
Yes.
this movie. They're just acknowledging that these exist and we should be a bit fearful of them.
Yes. And you're not thinking about, yeah, how that tech is going to expand or grow. You're looking at it
No,
for what it is in this time and look how dangerous it already can be.
because who would know
So
in 1995 where we would be in 2026? You wouldn't.
exactly. Exactly. So yeah, watching this at this time, I think would be a really interesting thing for people to kind of be more aware of. So yeah, not like an amazing movie, but I think an interesting subject matter at a time where tech was just starting to kind of get more in people's hands with different aspects. Like, I didn't think about being able to order a pizza online or like I'm saying she was able to order a pizza online. That was a thing in 1995. Like I literally didn't think about that.
Uber Eats in 1995. No, it's not
Right?
really.
Exactly. Um, but like online games and stuff like that, I'm like, oh yeah, like I remember playing games like that, like
Yeah.
Doom and things like that in school and Oregon Trail and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, once we kind of see this happen, we kind of, as I said here at news reports, this tech guy, unalives himself. And then we see Angela in her home. She's testing out this game, but there's some kind of virus on it. So she works from home for this tech company that like finds viruses and like computer analyzing, programs and stuff like that. So she's
I
testing
remember
out this
when
game.
computer viruses were like the scariest thing. I used to be
Yes.
terrified of computer viruses for some
Yes, and
reason.
especially it's like I've never had a virus that like did some crazy like thing to your screen like how these viruses do, like just chomp up all of your data like
Yeah.
that. Like I've
It's
never had
always
a
just like,
virus that
"Oh,
looked like that.
my
Yeah.
laptop's running a bit slow. I might have a virus."
Yeah, so
Oh,
then you run software
okay.
and it just says, "Bing, you have a virus." You don't get some crazy like thing that looks like it's chomping all the pages of
No.
your computer like this. Um, so yeah, we see her like quickly find the virus that's like affecting this game. She's able to like delete it. She's on the phone with the guy who's like her point person at the actual company. She tells him she's like fixed the bug. We see that he's like asking her out to like go out with him. It makes it
Mm,
feel like this is something he's maybe done a few times now, but she kind of says, "No, I have standing plans for a date. No, sorry." So we're already kind of setting up her isolated life. I think we see her make a phone call to her mother's um like retirement home where we learn that her mother has Alzheimer's. So we get a cue to that as well. We do ultimately see her go visit her mother and her mom not remembering her. So we're
yeah.
establishing her life that she is very kind of isolated. She doesn't really talk to anybody. She doesn't really go out. She doesn't really know anybody. She works from home. And her mother is also, Alzheimer's, doesn't really remember her. So we established all this about her. We established like how well she knows the tech, how quickly she can like pinpoint this virus. So then he says like they've sent her this other disc to check out. It's this game Mozart's Ghost or whatever, like some musical game. So she clicks on this little symbol. So the person she's on the phone with, he's like, "Hey, yeah, I was trying to figure out this thing and I found something weird. Can you take a look?" So he's like, "Click on the little pie symbol in the corner." She clicks on it and then it opens up all of these like access to like hospital records and all these different like
Yeah.
government websites like she can get into and like change things. And she's like, "This is weird." And he's like, "Yeah, I wasn't sure what this was. I'm kind of trying to look into it a little bit more, so I might need your help on this." So she's getting ready to now like go on a vacation, but she says, "Okay, we can meet in person and I'll help you kind of figure out what this is." Um, and so he's flying his plane to where she's at in California to meet her. And as he's flying, like, he's giving his coordinates to, like, whatever tower, and they're
Yeah.
saying they can't see him. And he's giving his location, they're like, "I'm sorry, we don't see you on the radar." And so he's flying, they're directing him somewhere, and they end up, directing him into flying into these big, like, smoke stacks or whatever for this
Yes.
factory, and he flies right into them and blows up and dies. So we're like, "What the heck's going on?" So cut to Angela, Sandra Bullock's character. She calls to like check in with him, and she gets word from her boss that like, "Oh, he died." And she's like, "Oh, he was flying to see me." Like she doesn't understand what's going on. So she's kind of confused. She has the disc of the stuff that he sent her. So she takes
What
it
is
to
this
kind of
disc?
maybe try to,
We
yes.
should
So
begin.
she takes it with her and her laptop on her vacation. We see her at the airport. Her flights have been delayed to Mexico. Um, a man kind of comes up to her and asks her, "Oh, hey, like, who works there? Do you want another soda?" She's like, "Oh, no, I'm fine. If I drink any more of these, I'll be able to fly to Mexico." And as soon as he hears, like, Mexico, it seems like somebody was trying to find out, like, where she was going, and we see somebody, like, on the balcony watching her. So, weird already kind of vibes what's going on. So she's at Mexico on the beach laying out. She has her laptop. She's trying to figure something out. And this guy orders a cocktail, and so she kind of hears what he orders, and she orders the same thing. So the fact that, like, he knows what she likes to drink, so, like, somehow, like, that is, like, in somewhere that she listed somewhere where she, like, yes. So the fact that, like, even these little details that maybe you put on a message board or in a chat room or something. We also saw her when she was kind of doing her work. She was in this little chat room with this fun group of people, and they, like, accepted her into their little chat group. So they will kind of come back later when she's trying to get help to figure out what's going on with her. So this handsome British man, he, like, comes up to her and says, "Hey, I didn't know anyone still ordered these drinks." And they have a cute little, like, meet cute situation, and they end up spending time together. And we see this guy, this Mexican guy, kind of lurking around wherever she is. So we're just kind of like, what's going on? So she's at the bar with the guy. He knows her favorite movie. So presumably, yeah, she's, like, listed this stuff somewhere online.
Yeah.
Because it's trying to tell us that, like, look how easily he can, like, act like he's getting to know you by, "Oh, my favorite movie is Breakfast at Tiffany's. Oh my gosh, that's my favorite movie too. My favorite drink is this. Oh my gosh, that's my favorite drink. Nobody drinks those." So he's able to kind of infiltrate and get this in with her. So when you saw this guy and him kind of chatting her up, did you think there was immediately something shady going on with this disc, or did you, like, think, "Oh, she's meeting this nice guy on her vacation"? And did you notice the guy is creeping around in the background?
Yes, Jeannine, he's a well-spoken British man in a 90s Hollywood movie. Of course he was the villain.
He's a villain. Yes. He didn't have
that
any
wasn't
charm.
an absolute shock to me. I know I'm somebody who doesn't always...
You sometimes miss things, so I just want to make sure.
I don't even mean miss things, but I know I'm somebody who doesn't tend to look ahead a lot. And in a movie like this, I think it's beneficial to not do that either. I think this movie is very precisely structured to make you feel so unaware of exactly what's going on, to sit you exactly where Sandra Bullock is, because Sandra Bullock is one of the most relatable, as it were, identifiable, down-to-earth actresses of the era. It's going to be very, very easy for us to sit in her POV for this entire movie and be just as confused as she is. So that's absolutely where we are at. I'm not trying to figure out necessarily who these people are letting the movie tell me, but I can absolutely guarantee from first meeting that he is the guy behind this this bit of strangeness going on that's already started to happen in the movie. And who does he work for? And we'll get... I'm saying to myself while watching this movie, well, we'll get told this. I don't need to figure this out yet.
Think about
But do we even really get told that? I mean, it's never overly clear, even by the end of the movie.
Yeah, because they are running off of some wrong information themselves, so it gets kind of messy. But even when the guy died in the plane, did you kind of read that as, like, sinister kind of things happening? Yeah.
Well, namely because this movie is listed under conspiracy thriller. So whenever anybody has some sort of suspicious death, I'm going to think,
like, this is part of the conspiracy. Yeah, yes. So she's walking the beach with this guy, and then the guy that we've seen kind of in the background creeping around steals her purse and runs into the bushes, right? Yes. So her hero runs to go get this guy and get her purse, and then we see him, like, talking to the guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you got it." And he's rummaging through her purse, gets the disc, and he's like, "Good job." And the guy's like, "Oh, you pay me now, give me my money." And, like, he shoots the guy. So now we're, like, 100% confirmation that, like, oh god, Angela is not in the
can we just please reiterate when we say disc, we do not mean like CD, Blu-ray,
No,
DVDs.
we mean
Disc,
it's not as floppy. It's the hard disc, but it's still the square giant disc.
enormous floppy disk.
Yes.
That could store about 3 megabytes or something tiny.
Right. Yes, and I remember I had a little case of cute little, like, transparent, like, pastel color ones. Like, I was like, "Oh, yeah," I had my cute disc for my computer class, I remember having I'm like, I probably still have them somewhere. It's like, where would I even use them? But, yeah, so he gets the disc, he shoots this guy, so now we're like, even if he was just after the disc, like, he has what he wants, so he doesn't really need to kill Angela, but, like, he doesn't know what she knows or what she's seen, so it's like, he's going to kill her.
Yes. We need some he wants some information first, surely, though. He wants to know exactly
what she knows. So
not that she knows anything. She doesn't believe she knows anything.
She doesn't even know.
I just want to be on holiday in Mexico.
Exactly. Like because even when she saw the disc, like she didn't even know what she was looking at. So she doesn't really have any too deep information about what's going on. But then he even cuts his hand to make it look like this guy injured him in trying to get her purse, and he couldn't get her purse back. But he does take like her other belongings and like put them, I think, in his jacket. And then when they're on the boat together, he takes her out on this boat and he puts her things like in a drawer in the boat. So she's
supposed to be very romantic-y, isn't it? It's also
yes.
There's some sexual tension going on here. There's a bit of
and they're alone on the water. Yes,
terrifying.
Yes.
This is what happened to Natalie Wood. Let's remind ourselves.
Well, there were more people on the boat, so that was even sadder that happened.
Well, yes, there was a few more people. Well, how many people were on the boat with Natalie Wood?
I mean, Christopher Walken, wasn't he there?
Christopher Walken was on the boat. I believe Robert Wagner was on the boat.
Wagner was on the boat. She was
obviously her partner at the time.
Yes.
And she fell off the boat and drowned, didn't she? That's what happened.
Yes, very sad.
I don't mean to bring that up, but it's just an example of something of someone being on
shady
the boat,
on a boat. Yes,
at night with a ultimately. I mean, this is even worse because this is ultimately a stranger. Do we even know the guy's name?
But
at this point? I don't remember.
Yes. So his name is Devlin, but I don't know if she knows him as Devlin. I don't know if I can't remember if he gave her like a fake name.
I don't think he does.
I think he, because he's going to kill her anyway. What difference does it make, right? So she's tending to his wound on his hand, and he's her hero. He tried to get her purse back, and he couldn't do it. He then like walks away to get his gun with the silencer, but then she kisses him. So he just kind of lets it happen. Like instead of killing her in that moment when he goes and gets the gun, he sleeps with her. So that just makes
it even worse. Fun time first.
Yes. So they're kind of laying on the boat after, hooking up and everything. And then I think he goes downstairs to use the restroom or something. And then she finds the gun. And she's like, well, that's strange. Why do you have this gun? And he takes it from her. So obviously now she knows kind of what's going on and she's kind of feeling weird, but he's trying to play it off a little bit.
But it's not even like, why do you have this gun? It's why do you have this gun with a silencer?
Yeah, exactly. So he tries to play it off for a little while and then he kind of reveals that that he's going to kill her. And he points the gun at her, but then she hits him with something, knocks him out. She goes into the boat and she opens a drawer because she's trying to find the key to the boat, and she sees her wallet and like the stuff from her purse and the disc. So she grabs it. She's wearing his jacket. So she puts all that stuff in the jacket. She tries to turn on the boat. She can't do it. So then she finds a little motor, like inflatable boat on the side, tied to the side of the boat. So she gets into that. And she's trying to get away, but she can't start the motor. She's trying to start it. It won't start. He's waking up. He gets in the water. He's trying to get on the boat. It won't start. So, of course, your thriller tension of, oh, my gosh, you're going to get away. He's grabbing the boat. Da, 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 da. So she ends up is able to get the motor going. She kind of moves the boat forward. So it smashes him between her boat and the big boat. She gets away, but she's too busy looking back to see like what's going on. And she's in a panic and she crashes into some rocks.
Yes.
So, cut to now, she's woken up in a Mexican hospital. She doesn't know where she is. The wallet there is a man's wallet, so her wallet is gone. It has like a little card in there with some numbers. The disc is completely crunched up and destroyed. Um and so she doesn't really know what to do, and she's like trying to get out of there. They won't let her leave. She doesn't know what to do. So she is all kind of a little beaten up, but she tries to rush out of the hospital. So she tries to get out of there. She goes to her hotel to try to like get in her room. And when they look her up, Angela Bennett, it says she's checked out. She's like,
Yeah.
no, I would have known if I checked out. I didn't check out. He looks a couple times because it's on the computer. This information is
Yeah.
stored at a computer. And like people constantly say, well, the computer says this. The computer says this. You hear that a lot in this movie, that like
You
people
do.
are relying on this trusted information and this, high tech thing. They're not trusting the person, the human person standing in front of them. Because the man just keeps saying, she's like, I'm right here. Like, I didn't check out. Well, the computer's telling me you did. The computer's telling me you did. So she doesn't know what to do. So she ends up going to the embassy to try to figure out like how to get home.
Yeah, I almost wonder now if this very specific situation of, say, being at a hotel and maybe you've got maybe it could be something completely different from this, the computer thinks you've checked out and you've not checked out, or you've gotten the wrong day and you've turned up a day early than what you'd booked or anything like that.
Yeah.
I really genuinely feel like hotels today wouldn't just go type, computer says no, bye. They just wouldn't do that like they do in this
But
movie.
would they do that 31 years ago in 1995?
They would do that 31 years ago in 1995 because everybody thinks computers are the best thing. I would like to think in the year of our Lord 2026, people are more willing to acknowledge computers' mistakes and technological mistakes than they maybe were at the original
at that time. Well, see, that's what you're saying. You have to watch it with the time capsule brain that you mentioned. You can't be looking ahead. You have to kind of take it for what it is in this time, in this technology.
100%.
This high-tech thing that should be trusted because it's new and it's smart. That this is the truth. So I kind of found that interesting. Like I noticed that a lot on this watch that like everyone is kind of like telling her, well, the computer says da 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 da.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm a human person in front of you. Yes.
Correct.
And you're not listening to me. You're listening to this stupid computer. Like, yes. So I noticed that a lot more on this watch because I've seen this movie several times. And even though I still never remember that opening with that guy,
I am screaming to the screen. I am screaming to the screen going, oh my God, there is a human being in front of you. This is my exact same problem with AI in today's technological world.
Yeah.
What are you doing, you imbecile, using AI for all these tasks?
And people believing it.
Inhuman moron.
Yes, and people believing it. I literally saw a video where they were, of course, using the image of a Black woman, and she's like, I know you'll scroll away because I'm Black, but if you just stay, you can watch and see the beautiful wreaths I make. And she's making these Disney wreaths that look like different Disney movies for your front door. And all of the comments are like, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. Don't listen to the haters. And like, there's one comment that's like, this is AI, and only like 30 people have liked it. Meanwhile, the rest of the comments are like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Oh my gosh, take my money. And I'm just like,
people are just idiots. This is the problem. People are just genuinely idiots. But this goes back to my point before of I really think people in this sort of situation wouldn't just be computer says no anymore and goodbye. There's nothing I can do. They would actually go, okay, let me have a look what that says. But hold on a minute, let me think for 3 seconds. Oh, you're actually stood in front of me telling me something now. So let me see what I can do. Oh yeah, I actually have control over the computer. So I can go dwing, type, and change something. If I want to, can't I? It doesn't load over me. This isn't Terminator. We don't have it. Nearly might as well be Terminator now, for God's sake. But we don't allow yourself to be ruled by the computer, and the computer, quote unquote, can mean many things. It can mean the net, in the net, and it can mean AI today. Don't stop allowing yourself to be owned by it. When there is a human being in front of you telling you something that you're saying hasn't happened to them. They're telling you it has happened to them. What are you talking about, you moron?
Yeah. Yes. So that was something I was far more aware of this watch, that like several times she's trying to tell them and they're just like, well, the computer says. So I love the scene when she's like, that happens to her in a hospital and she just throws the computer, like rips it out and throws it on the ground. So yes. So she goes to the embassy and she's like on a payphone trying to figure out who she can call. And somebody's saying, Ruth Marks, are you Ruth Marks? And she's like, no. And she's like, are you trying to get a replacement visa, a temporary visa home? And she's like, yes. And she's like, so you're Ruth Marks. She looks at the little, and the picture is her with the name Ruth Marks next to it. And she's like, well, if you're not her, then you're not getting home. And she's like, so she just says, yeah, it's her, so she can get back into the States. So she goes home, she takes a cab home, and she sees a for sale sign out front of her house. And she's like, huh? So she goes in there and it's like somebody is showing the house. The landlady, who she's like saying that she doesn't know her, whoever lived here, she moved out. She kept to herself. She was really isolated. And she's like, I live here. And she's like, well, can you show me any ID? And she's like, well, the ID I have says this, but that's not really me. So the realtor's fighting with her. The landlady who like owns the house is fighting with her, to the point where the cops show up. And now she's trying to explain to them, but she has no ID that she can show them that says she is Angela Bennett.
Do you know what though? I mean, don't sign anything with somebody else's name.
Yes, but I mean, that was like, but if you're in that situation where this is the only way you can get home, this is the only way you can get back to the States, like, what would you do? Do you want to stay in Mexico where someone tried to kill you? Like, what would you do?
Well, what would you do? I suppose it's an unanswerable question, but there's all this going around anyway. You're going to think that this is also another bit of a shady thing, but then nobody around you wants to believe anything you say as much as they want to believe what a computer says. So really, the isolation is just compounding itself onto you. You wouldn't know what to do. It's an unanswerable question.
Yes,
I understand why she would do that, but obviously it does make everything a lot
even more difficult. Yes, and there's also this added layer of like the realtor guy saying that he's met Angela Bennett and she is not her. So there's somebody now out there pretending to be her as well. So this added layer of people seeming to know what the real Angela Bennett looks like, which is just confuses her even further. So
you'd be terrified.
Nobody's believing her.
You want to just crawl into a corner and start
exactly. So this is not the last we've seen of Devlin, because now we see him in a car, like outside. He knows this is going on because he's watching, and he's typing into the police servers that like Ruth Marks has a criminal record for prostitution, that she's done these like home scams trying to say she's somebody else in order to get into a house and all these kinds of things. And she's so
on charges and all sorts.
Yes. So Angela hears the cops looking up her record and seeing all of these things, and that they're gonna arrest her. So she steals the realtor guy's phone and sneaks out the back, and they're like, the realtor's like, where'd she go? Where's my phone? And so then we see her kind of running out the back. Devlin is in his car, sees her running out the back. So now it's like a chase for her to try to figure out who to call. So she mentions when she's trying to prove herself that the only person who might know who she is her old therapist.
Yes. So, who was also her old boyfriend, which is a bit of a shady situation.
A little nasty. Yes. So she does call him and ask him for help. And while this is happening, Devlin knows that she has the realtor's phone, so he's trying to do some weird techie triangulation thing that who knows if it's even a real thing you can do to find where she is.
This is another thing. When you are like us, who are fully acknowledging of our, even in 2026, not overly we're not overly tech-minded people.
No.
We haven't really got a clue what is and isn't possible with technology. So when tech thrillers tend to do all this, hacking and triangulation and tracking and let's get into this server and do something with
and change something.
Sometimes words are just words and they don't really mean anything to me when it comes to tech. I'm acknowledging a certain level of hypocrisy here, so you don't need to come for me in hypocrisy by saying, well, you use tech for this. Look, you're here doing a podcast now. You're using tech for doing a podcast. Yes, I'm aware of that.
Yes, but it's still very limited. Like, is hacking real? Is triangulation and the 30-second thing, like, is to find somebody, like, is any of that real? Like,
no, though, is it?
Yeah. Like, what? Yeah. We don't know how any of that stuff really works. So you could just tell us that that's how it works in a movie, and we're just like, okay, because I don't know.
Look, I am a person to say as well, use tech up to a point and don't overuse it. Like, keep a lot of analog things live within your life. Keep, like I said, hard copies of things. Keep physical media. Isn't a shock coming from me to be all keep physical media, is it? If you are watching today's video podcast episode that this is, you will be able to see that
all the physical media behind you, I guess.
But I do stand by that. I do stand by that sort of mentality. You can't be just willy-nilly absolutely everything online. And I know some of the most serious stuff in people's lives, like, I know all my banking is online, all my financials, like they are with most other
people. Like, who is really regularly carrying cash around? Even like,
nobody carries cash. I hate cash. I genuinely and that might be hypocritical of me to say, but I hate cash.
Yes, like I watch these videos online of people not knowing how much change is. Like, they don't know how much a nickel is.
People should be learning about it.
Yes, because they don't use it, so they don't know how much a nickel is worth or a dime is worth. And things like that. It's like, oh God,
people should learn cash and coins. People should learn analog time. People should learn writing by hand. People should learn all these analog skills. Absolutely. Even if you don't need, quote unquote, need them to live, you should learn them, because what if you do need them? What if something goes badly wrong and you do need them?
Exactly. So, it's just kind of interesting that we just, when these things happen in movies, we just, okay, sure, technology, that's fine. So, he tries to kind of find where she is. She ultimately is able to connect with her therapist friend. He gets her some clothes. She tries to tell him what's going on. He doesn't quite believe everything, but he's still there to kind of support her. He gets her a hotel room, but
he doesn't need to be either. He could quite comfortably go, I don't want to deal with my ex.
Exactly. This is weird. You're calling me out of the blue. Like, what's going on? And he tells her he does have a cop friend that might be able to help her. So she's able to kind of at least have a night to breathe, have some kind of support system while these people are looking for her. And she is able to get a laptop, so she's trying to kind of figure out what is going on, like what was on that disk, what did they want. And she kind of talks to her chat room people, and she asks them about the little pi symbol, like, what does that mean? And it's like Praetorians, this like group of like online terrorists, like internet terrorists. So now she's kind of getting a sense for what she's involved with, and she wants more information. So she's looking at like where all of her little chat room buddies live, and Cyber Bob is the one that lives like in the same area in California. So she makes a plan to meet with him in person.
Might as well be a Cyberman for all I care.
Right? Yes. Yes, I don't know if it's like Santa Monica Pier or Venice Beach or something. She's like a public place she wants to meet with them.
Yes.
But Devlin has been able to kind of like see that somebody has been using the same words and looking up the same things that they are monitoring. So they kind of have a sense of where she is and what she's doing. So Devlin goes to visit Cyber Bob at his place because he finds out his real name. And we see him buzz his apartment and goes up, and so we don't see what happens to Cyber Bob, but we just have to assume that Devlin probably killed him.
Yes, that silencer did come in handy in the end.
Yes, exactly. So she goes to meet with Cyber Bob, and it's Devlin, and he's trying to explain to her like what she's into, that you saw something that you weren't supposed to see, so we need to get rid of you. And of course, he's just monologuing in this public place.
Yes, he is. But when Sandra Bullock is quite clearly half panicking, going, I don't know what I saw. What was I supposed to have seen? Because I am telling you now, in my actively upset, panicked state, I don't know. If I knew, would I be like this? Just think like a human being for a little minute, please, Jeremy Northam. Have some sense within you. And realize that I may have seen it, but I didn't actually understand anything. So I don't have any knowledge. Why are we panicking?
Why are you trying to kill me? Like, I don't even know, but like he can't leave any loose ends or whatever. So and so we do kind of still get little pepperings of news reports, like this guy Greg, he was partners with the guy who unalived himself at the beginning of the movie. And we also hear, I don't know if this is before or after what happens to her therapist friend, that I think it might be after, because we're kind of playing into being able, now we're seeing that like medical records can be tampered with, because that is also in a computer. So she is able to get away from Devlin because of a big like goofy mascot that's like all in her face. So she was able to like shove the mascot at Devlin, like get away. So she gets back to her friend, and we've seen him just take like his pills, his meds or whatever. And so as they're driving, he starts like coughing and getting sick. And so she takes him to a hospital, and she says, oh yeah, your friend like took like, I think he's allergic to penicillin, so he took some of that, so we're just pumping his stomach, he should be fine, you can go see him, he'll be okay. So she goes to see him, and they end up kind of having this sweet moment where they're kind of connecting, and she's thanking him, and he's saying he believes her, and he'll be okay. So I think this is right before she goes to meet Devlin, when she has this moment with him and he goes to the hospital. So then she's going to meet Cyber Bob after she leaves him in the hospital. And that's when Devlin catches up with her. She gets away. She sneaks back into the hospital to see him. But we see, as she's with Devlin, we see somebody sneak into the hospital room and change his IV bag. So we're like, oh, great.
A shady character at night wearing a surgical mask.
Yes, sneaks in and changes his
surgical mask.
I don't even think we see we don't even really see them. And so she gets away from Devlin, she goes back to the hospital, and then it's like she goes to his room, and it's like ever chaos in his room. He's coding, all these people in here, get her out of here, like your typical like hospital stuff. So she goes to the nurse, and she's like, what happened? You said he was fine, you said he was going to be okay, and he ends up dying.
He's like, he was going to be okay. I don't know what happened. The IV shit. That's not what nurses are like.
No. So the nurse says, she's like, the nurse was like assuring her that they knew like what drugs he couldn't have. But then she says the opposite. But she's like, no, like you literally just said. So it's clear that like the nurses are literally only just going off what's on the computer, because now what's on the computer has changed for her. They said he was like a diabetic and he had an insulin flare up, and that's kind of what killed him. And so they gave him some drugs. Yes, that somebody's files and allergies could just be quickly changed, and like you kill a man, but like, oh no, but the computer said this. And she's trying to tell them that, like, something's wrong on your computer because you didn't tell me this was his diagnosis, like, an hour ago when I was here. She's like, well, the computer says, and she's like, so this is when she like grabs the computer and just tosses it on the floor and breaks it because literally, ma'am, you don't even remember what you told me because all you're doing is just parroting what's on this stupid computer screen. And now my friend is dead. The only person who believed me, who was helping me, is dead. Like, I'm screwed now. So,
I am at this moment applauding Sandra Bullock for metaphorically destroying the computer systems.
Yes.
Because how terrifying it genuinely feels.
Yes, exactly. That can be changed. Somebody can just sneak in there, change things. They can know what his allergies are because it's in the computer system and just like mess with his stuff and kill him. So
but obviously, it's like you go to the doctor today. It's quite impersonal, isn't it? Nobody has true personal. Very few people have true personal doctors, who really know them or anything like that. So they are just going off your records on the computer. So if that does change and you end up getting, you go through a particular GP appointment, doctor's appointment, whatever it may be. I've got X, Y, and Z that's not going quite right with me. Okay, let's prescribe you some meds. Can this person have these meds? Type. Yep, you've got no history of anything like this, so we'll prescribe you these meds. Oh dear, no, I'm now frothing at the mouth and dying.
Exactly. And it's like, and also just to kind of get back to AI, they are starting to, like, I think the show The Pit was like showing that this one doctor was trying to implement this AI note-taking thing. So
oh my God.
So like you talk into this thing and it's like the AI like will write out your notes for you in detail, but then you still have to go through the trouble of proofreading it because there was a case in the show that somebody didn't proofread the AI and somebody got a wrong diagnosis and like almost died because the AI wrote the wrong thing. So literally, if you're just going off what the tech does and letting the tech do all the work, there might be a mistake in there, So this is what happens when this nurse literally she's telling you one thing about this guy's medical history and then you look at something completely different and that's what you are telling this woman where now that her friend's dead because that's what the computer told you. So again, a situation where there's a human person telling you what this person is allergic to, but you're just ignoring it because the computer says. So when she ripped that computer out and tossed it on the floor, I was like, So
if you have to proofread an AI written document
what is the
because
point?
you're not sure whether it's accurate or not, why are you using it in the first place?
What is the point? Yeah, exactly. What is the point?
You lazy moron.
Exactly. What is the point? So, yes. So she leaves the hospital. She takes his car. She's driving. I don't even think she knows where she's going. She gets a call. It's Devlin. He's like, hey, Angela, let's just talk. We have a lot in common. We can figure this out. Like schmoozing her, she starts to look in her rearview mirror. She sees there's a cop there. No lights yet, but a cop is like on her tail. And he's kind of like just keeping her on the line, messing with her. And then the cops start chasing her. And then he admits like, oh, he's, she had her therapist friend move her mom to another place so that like they couldn't find her mom. But he goes to the original retirement home where her mom was, and he makes her know that like he knows that. And he's like, oh, your little friend had her moved, huh? So we see that he's like right outside her retirement place. So just to add to like the scariness of like, oh, great. And this guy like goading her and messing with her. So she hangs up the phone and now she's in this like chase. Police are chasing her. She doesn't know what to do. She ends up crashing. It's raining. She tries to like get away in the rain, like on foot because she crashes the car. They ultimately arrest her. So now she's talking to the public defender and she's just like, I'm just going to say the truth. Like, I'm tired of I'm not Ruth Marks. My name's Angela Bennett. This system, like there's Praetorians and they have gone in. They think I've seen something that, I don't understand. They think I have some kind of disc and information because they think she might have made a copy of the disc as well as a thing. So they need that copy.
Well, in 1995, that would have taken several hours.
Yes, and she told Devlin that it was messed up and it was destroyed in Mexico, but they don't really believe her.
No.
So
They
she's
don't
trying to
believe
tell this.
anything she says.
No.
I'm now imagining Sandra Bullock sat at a computer waiting for a very, very slow sort
We
of
see that.
dial-up level of upload, download of
Well,
making
we
a
see
copy
it
of
in the
this.
movie. We see her. Well, I think
Yes.
there's 2 scenes of her just like waiting for this disc to copy. So yeah, she's trying to just lay it out for this public defender. These shady people have messed up my life. It has something to do with Greg, this big tech guy. I don't know what's going on. Shady business. And the lady like doesn't believe her. She's like, if you go in front of the judge and say all of this, you're gonna look crazy and they're just gonna hold you indefinitely. But she's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. She tries to call her mom. Yeah, she tries to call her mom and like, Mom, there's a woman here. Can you just tell her I am who I am? But her mom doesn't even know who she is because her mom has Alzheimer's. So a really emotional scene with her on the phone, like holding back tears because like her mom doesn't even remember her. And she's like, Mom, I love you. And like mom doesn't even know anything what's going on. So really kind of sad that she's in this scenario. So we see her laying in bed and then a woman officer brings her clothes and says, hey, somebody needs to see you. They're letting you out. So it's the cop friend of the therapist. He's like, hey, Angela, yeah, I'm what's his face's friend. I'm sorry to hear what happened to him. He told me about your situation before he died. I'm here to help you. So he's like, I'll take you to this station and we can kind of talk about what's going on because we've been trying to catch these guys for years and you could be the key to cracking this case. So he's in the car, he's driving. He's telling her, so why don't you lay out the timeline of what happened? So she's explaining to him all of the stuff that's happened so far. And he's like, and the disc, did you make a copy of it before it was destroyed in Mexico? And she's like, and I like how she plays
tell
this.
You it was destroyed in
yes,
Mexico.
But I like how she plays it. Like, she's like, she just gets quiet and she's like, no, I didn't make a copy. And he's like, still trying to like act like he's on her side. And she's like, you people are ridiculous. Like, really? Devlin is the only person I told about the disc. How did you know about the disc? And he's like, blah, blah, blah. And so she's just fed up. So she starts messing, putting her foot on the gas, swerving the car around. And then she unclicks the guy's seatbelt so that he crashes and like she's okay. And Devlin's right there because he's listening to all of this exchange because they, clearly that cop was like in their pocket. He's trying to get information from her. So she get away. So she gets away, she gets a hotel, and then this is, I think, where she sees the news report that talked about the guy from the beginning. They did a autopsy and he didn't have AIDS. So something was changed in his computer files that told because it was like a computer blood test or whatever. And the computer blood test said he had AIDS and they told him he had AIDS. And so he panicked and killed himself. But
horrific.
The truth is now she's realizing that Greg wanted to get rid of his partner. And so the way to do that was to mess with these files and make him think he had AIDS to get rid of his partner and to have the company for himself. And like,
because that's a sensible way of doing it. Most people, when they want to, get rid of a business partner, they buy them out.
Right? Exactly. And clearly you have all these killers and you have all these killers on your payroll. So why not have just Devlin kill him?
Right. I mean, sure, that would have been a little bit more straightforward, I suppose, as well, wouldn't it? Surely. You don't have to do this indirect suicide thing. I mean, what's going on?
Yes. So I think they were doing like shady things and like money stealing and all that kind of. Yes. So Greg is doing all this shady business and it's all on that disc. Like that program was kind of showing how he could access all of these records and like mess with everybody's stuff and get into things and change. So that whole computer system was what was on that disc, showing how he could like, manipulate all of this online stuff.
A lot of data on this disc. I mean, arguably the most unbelievable thing about the whole movie is exactly how much stuff can go on one floppy disk.
Right? That is like the miracle right there. That is the technological wonder.
I am in the wonderful generation that is able to span both these sides of technology.
Yeah.
Both the modern and the sort of 90s style technology. I remember using floppy disks in primary school.
I
You
can't
could
believe
get
you were
nothing
even
on them.
using them.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't believe
I would use it in but that was in, like, maybe 2004-ish. We were still
'cause you were
using
several
floppy disks.
decades younger than me, so the fact that you were
That's
even still using
several
floppy disks,
decades younger than you.
it feels
That's
like that.
that's
I
way
told you, I have
too much.
no concept of time, clearly.
Look, you want 1995 to still be 11 years ago, and so
I
do I, and I
do.
wasn't even
I
here in
do. I really
1995.
do. Um, okay, maybe a little more than a decade, but still, like, that surprises me that you were still using floppy disks at
Oh,
that
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Crazy.
I remember using floppy disks. Well, I was
That's
young,
funny.
but I
Yeah.
remember saving things onto floppy disks.
That's crazy. So, yeah, so she's seeing that, like, yeah, this disc, it can do all of these things, and she's realizing that's why they're after her, and Greg's connection to all of this, and that's why it's this big deal that they wanna kill her for it. And then, of course, immediately right after that, a news report, "Oh, a man was killed, and he was shot in the head and the chest, and it was the cop guy,
Yeah.
by this woman who was a passenger in the car, and Ruth Marks." And she's like, "God."
Oh, for God's sake, again.
Yes, so then she has to, like, sneak out of that hotel. We see her, like, hitch a ride on a truck and go to the company, because now she's like, "Okay, well, I gotta infiltrate the company," the
Yeah.
one that she worked
Last
for.
ditch.
Yes, and try to find this fake Angela Bennett, because I think she tried to call her office,
Yeah.
earlier on when
Fake
she stole the
fake
realtor's
Angela
phone.
Bennett
She
was
called
on the
Yeah,
phone.
yes, when she stole the realtor's phone. She called her office to talk to her boss. She was told that boss is no longer with the company, but she's like, "I don't know anyone else in the company. I work from home. He's the only person I've talked to." Um, and so she's like, "I'm Angela Bennett." She's like, "Oh, I'll transfer you to Angela Bennett." So she's like, "Wait, what the transfer you?" So then Angela Bennett answers the phone, and she's like, "Hello, hello." And she's like, "Angela, I know it's you. Just give us the disc, and you'll get your life back." And she's like, so she knows there's some fake Angela Bennett at this company. So
Yeah.
she's like, "I'm gonna sneak in there. I'm gonna find out where she is." So she finds an empty cubicle. She calls Angela Bennett, and Angela answers, the fake Angela, and she's like looking around. "Hello, hello, hello." And so she's kind of looking to see who stands up, and she sees her. She knows where her cubicle is. So in her little sneaky cubicle, the real Angela is like, she's like, "I'm gonna set a fire here." So look at all the stuff you can do with computers. You can, like, make a fire in the building. So she's able to, like, make a fire happen to set off the alarm to get everyone out of the building so that she can get on Angela's computer and see what's there. So she's able to get everyone out of the building with the fire alarm. She sneaks into Angela's cubicle, and she fake Angela's cubicle, and she's able to get on her computer, find the program, find all the shady stuff, and use a floppy disk to copy it. So she copies it, but
Yes.
it gets very tense, because now it's like, "Oh, it wasn't a real fire. Everyone's coming back up. It takes
Yeah.
forever." So as you said, it takes forever to save and make this copy, and she's waiting. Everyone's starting to come back into the office now. She's panicking, and then it pops out right on time. She's able to get out of there. And as soon as fake Angela gets to her computer, she sees that, like, all those files are open, that she was there. She calls security, look for a brown-haired woman. Luckily, our Angela sees, like, a fireman's, like, jacket and hat just sat there, so she grabs it and puts it on and sneaks out right past Devlin, who doesn't notice her, and
Yes.
gets out of the building. So fake Angela calls Devlin, and she's telling him, "Oh my gosh, she got to the computer. She must have da 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 da." And he's like, "How did you let this happen?" And she's like, "Well, you were supposed to put a bullet in her head like a week ago." So
This is your fault.
exactly. So luckily there's some computer convention in town. So she goes to the
Well, of course there is.
convention center to go use a computer so that she can send all of this information to the FBI and the authorities and whatever, whatever. So she goes to the convention. Devlin's looking around. He realizes this is where she must be to use a computer. As she's, like, sending the stuff, Devlin finds her. He tries to, like, erase everything she's doing. And she gets cornered by the two of them. But she's able to send everything to the FBI. And Devlin's trying to undo it. But she's able to grab, like, I think the second copy that she made and run, like, into, like, the back little areas of the convention center. So now, like,
Yeah.
this ending feels a little rushed to me and kind of anticlimactic because it had a really good kind of heart-pumping build and, you know, of them chasing her and, like, her getting the information and her figuring out what's going on, and then we see her kind of fighting back and, like, "I'm gonna go to the company and risk it all because what do I have to lose?" So we see, like, this really cool build, and then the ending just feels anticlimactic, like, she sends everything to the FBI, they don't really care, Devlin's trying to, like, tick, tick, tick on the computer to, like, undo it, she gets away, and then they don't bother with that anymore, they just wanna go after her. So then they're kind of chasing her through the bowels of the back of the convention center. Devlin shoots her, but he actually shoots the fake Angela, and then she has a little, you know, tit for tat little fight with Devlin and knocks him off a thing, and he's gone and everything's fine.
Yeah.
And that's the end. Like, it just felt very anticlimactic. But
Yeah, I would agree with you. It's not rounded out in the sort of best possible way, but nor is it one of those high tense, you know, thrilling chase scenes that ends right at the climax, you know, like say most famously probably French Connection ends with that one with Gene Hackman, you know, shooting the one guy on the staircase, and that's where the movie ends because that's been the point of the whole thing.
Exactly, and you wanna see these people who have screwed up her life, and you wanna see these people who screwed with her life really get theirs, even if they were doing it in service of somebody else, you still wanna see, like, a really gruesome death for them, or, like, a really kind of epic long chase and, like, that builds tension and stuff, but it's like, as soon as they get back to the back area, he kinda looks for her for 2 seconds, accidentally shoots the fake Angela. Yes, she finds him. I think she hits him with, like, a fire extinguisher, knocks him over this balcony. He's dead now, and there you go. She was able to send all that stuff to the FBI, gets exonerated, gets her life back. We see her back at home. Her mother's out front planting flowers. Her mom's like, "Oh, ma'am, I don't remember what I was supposed to be planting." So she goes out and is helping her mom plant the flowers. And then we hear, like, a news report that, like, Greg was arrested because of all the evidence that was, you know, put forth against him of all his crimes. And then in the convention center, we found the body of a woman named Ruth Marks and an unidentified man. And that's kind of the end of the story. So yeah, like, to have, like, you know, some really kind of solid tense moments, like the fake out with the cop, we think he's gonna help her, and then, like, no, he's working with the bad guys, you know, her realizing her realizing there's another Angela Bennett, you know, how they messed with the thing and killed her friend after kind of setting up this really kind of sweet, like, oh my gosh, somebody finally to believe her. All the kind of twists and turns, the cops getting her, no, you know, all of that. So they really built some great tension and had some really great kind of twists and turns throughout. But ultimately, the ending felt very anticlimactic. But, you know, this series is about Sandra Bullock performances, and we saw kind of this silly version of her last week to now go to something like this. She's giving a really great performance, I think, of somebody who is lost and alone and, you know, is frustrated, and, like, the emotion that she has to put forth when she's dealing with her mother who can't remember her. And especially in a situation where you need somebody to remember her. And then even when the moments when she kind of gets tough and, like, fights back and things. So she plays to a lot of really cool things here, and I think in this movie, and it makes it really entertaining. But yeah, like, just kind of anticlimactic on the end.
Yeah, I mean, she is very good at playing isolation, isn't she? And kind of that style of loneliness that isn't just slow and bleak. It's just like you're living in a fast-paced world, but you are on your own. For whatever reason, Sandra Bullock seems to be quite good at that. Even though she is dynamic and poppy and still like Sandra Bullock, there's always something not there, isn't there? There's always something, like, not there within her life. It's an odd sort of thing. But she's very good. She's absolutely the standout thing about this movie. And as you said, this is a Sandra Bullock series. This is supposed to highlight Sandra Bullock. This movie does highlight Sandra Bullock. It is tense. It is decent. You know, it is it does the job it's supposed to do. It's a
Yeah, yes,
solid
and
thriller.
yes, and this is a series where I'm just kind of, like, sharing with you movies that I grew up watching. So, like, I realize that I really love kind of curling up with a good, like, 80s or 90s thriller. Like, they're, melodramatic, and they have, like, fun little twists and turns. The tension's really fun. They're a little bit silly and over the top. And so, yeah, I grew up really kind of enjoying this. But, like, all the movies in this series are movies that I grew up kind of watching on, TNT and TBS and stuff like that all the time. So, yes, not everything in this series is going to be, an amazing movie, but these are just movies that I grew up with that, I kind of want to share with you. So, and
Yeah.
kind of, and check off things off your 90s list because that is like an era that I absolutely love that, you are very underwatched on. So whenever I can kind of throw some of
Yes.
those in the mix, I'm always going to go for that. So
We're never as underwatched as I once was, though, thanks to Morgan
yes.
Hasn't Seen, of course,
Yeah.
Jeannine, which is a wonderful thing, isn't it, really? There we
Yeah.
go, though, I think, for this episode of the Sandra Bullock series on Morgan Hasn't Seen. We have Murder by Numbers coming
Yeah.
next week, don't we? That's going to be exciting. I do like a good murder thriller as well.
Yes, young Ryan Gosling. We've been talking Dawson's Creek, so you're gonna see Michael Pitt, who was Henry on there, be like, use his creepy face to perfect advantage. Like you will watch this movie and be like, yeah, that's why they cast him. Because I'm pretty sure when you saw Henry for the first time, you were like, he looks like a creepy serial killer. So yes, if once you watch Murder by Numbers, you were like, yep. That's why they cast him. That weird.
Yeah. And isn't he like a
yes,
weird
I think
guy
some
anyway?
stuff recently came out, like some weird, creepy things that he's done in recent times. So yes, you're going to see some
Stick to Ryan
familiar faces
Gosling
in
and
this
Sandra.
movie. Yes, a very dark, crime thriller coming next week.
We do.
So.
We do like that. We do like that. Of course, this is Morgan Hasn't Seen, but it is not the only show we have on the It's a Wonderful Podcast feed. As the main show, It's a Wonderful Podcast itself is there every Friday, of course, talking that World War II movies series for August. TV-based shows are there on a Monday, discovering Dawson's Creek, as you have just mentioned, and diving into Doctor Who, alternate every week there. Exciting times all week long on It's a Wonderful Podcast. Do subscribe wherever you are listening to today's show. Leave your comments on Spotify. Rate, review, like, and share wherever else you may be, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, any other such podcast platform. And, of course, again, if you are watching today's video podcast episode, do subscribe and ding the notification bell on the It's a Wonderful Podcast YouTube channel too. If you want to support us on Patreon or donate in any way, find links to do that in the description of the episode. And, of course, find us on and across all the social media on the app formerly known as Twitter and on Blue Sky at It's a Wonderful One. Find me on the app formerly known as Twitter at The Purple Dawn with a 3 instead of the E in the because, Jeannine.
3 is a magic number.
On Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at The Purple Dawn. All your old school internet stuff is where.
You can find me, Jeannine Bean _ on Twitter, Jeannine Bean on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. And if you want to get any merch for any of our shows, just check the description for the link or search G9 Design on tpublic.com.
You know what my favorite old style internet thing is? It's the concept of an internet cafe, which I don't even think was quite as old as the mid-90s, to be honest with you. I think that probably came slightly after.
Yes, I think it was a little after.
But I always find it hilarious that you would go to basically a coffee shop just to use a computer and the internet and do whatever you think.
And now people have their own computers in the coffee shops, so, yeah.
Well, exactly, and they have done now for nearly 20 years, because when was the iPhone? 2007, so...
yeah. Crazy.
Wild. Advancement to time and the decades are thundering along. We don't like it much, but they must. This is how time...
No, I don't like it. 11 years is
Oh,
better.
11 years, yes. It's still 2006.
Yes, please.
Let's stick with that.
Pretty please.
11 years ago.
I can't believe I said that. Oh my god.
It is truly one of my favorite things to have ever happened, I think.
Oh my god.
There is only one thing left to do, though, Jeannine, and I'm not quite sure. Do you want to try and do Jeremy Northam's very
I mean, if anyone's gonna do it, I think you should do it.
No, that's just my voice anyway, though, isn't it? So it's more funny if you do it.
Oh my god. 3, 2, 1.
Bye.